Check, check. There we go. Sorry, guys. I haven't. It's been a minute since I had the setup. I'm in my living room. Can you guys hear me now? I hope you guys can hear me now. I can hear myself now. Let me know in the chat. We have a lot of stuff to catch up on. Hopefully, my sound is okay. If the sound is on, hopefully it sounds good, and you guys can hear me okay. Um, man, KGM was cracking, bro. Kid get money in the building. Alessandro Lanzilo, I see you in the building. Okay, okay, we got some English in there. Roman Reigns, LW Triple. Okay, I can't say I can translate all that. Man, it's good to see you guys. Formerly Wild Nation. We had to switch some things up. Nigel, everybody coming through. Dave was cracking. Yo, the whole gang is in here, man. I appreciate all you guys being up in here. I'm excited to be back. We're gonna be, doing the shows more regularly now. Since I got some free time again, I'm excited. Good to have you guys all in here, being able to catch up, man. I'm excited to talk about pro wrestling. But we're not only going to be talking about pro wrestling going forward, we're going to be talking about my love of all sports. We'll be talking about football, basketball. We always have our little chats because we're all sports fans in here. All the guys in here I know got their teams or whatever. Shout out to you if your team's still in it. But yeah, we're gonna talk about football, basketball. I'll be doing some sports betting videos since I'll be having some fun with that now. Uh, Man, we'll be doing some things. I appreciate it, Gruss. I'm trying to get some things together, man. If you don't know, if you weren't aware, we're not gonna dwell on this too long because I want to stay positive and keep everything happy and not make things too gloomy. But I did almost pass away a couple times. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. I actually had a problem with having a couple seizures or whatever, and I found out I'm a type 2 diabetic now, which is seriously ironic because I still have a six pack. So, but goes to show it's very important what you eat, even if you're working out or you don't look unhealthy. It's very important what you put in your body. Fortunately, I've been taking care of myself and back on my workout regimen and eating healthy again. And I feel like I'm about to kick this shit because fortunately, it is type 2 diabetes is curable. So I feel like I'm on the right track, just trying to stay positive about those things. And, a lot of things going on family life and work and different things like that. That's why I haven't been able to see you guys. I'm streaming from my living room right now, slash kitchen. And it's because I'm moving into a new apartment in about 6 weeks, and I've already started packing stuff. So my studio is all packed up in boxes. So that's why my desk setup is out here. Hopefully everything still sounds good without all the soundproofing and all that. But that's neither here or there, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So good to be here. I'm so happy that all you guys fell through. KGM, Dave, Gruss, everybody that's in here, man. Nigel was cracking, brother. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, we got a lot of news to talk about. We're gonna do some videos. I'm gonna do some standalone videos later about all the stuff I missed, the biggest news stories of 2023, because I've been keeping up. If you follow my Twitter, Mr. HD Sports, MRHD Sports, you'll know that I've been keeping up with wrestling. I've been trying to stay pretty active on Twitter, and yeah, it's been a lot going. 2023 was a crazy year in pro wrestling. I'm kind of sad that I wasn't here for a lot of it, talking to you guys and streaming with you guys and doing all that. I will be here on Saturday doing a watch along for the Royal Rumble because it's the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? That's why we're coming back. I felt like I wanted to wait until I moved, but it's WrestleMania season, man. It's no better time to come back and have fun with you guys, especially during my second. I still say WrestleMania is my favorite pay-per-view of the year, but my second favorite pay-per-view of the year, the Royal Rumble. You guys can debate which ones you like between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But yeah, So there's been a lot going on. So we're going to talk about the news stories that just broke yesterday because it was like a flood. That's how the news seems to come out. And I'm going to get to it. But the news nowadays in wrestling seems to come out in floods. It's just like, oh, you think it's one big story, but no, on one day or span of 48 hours, there's five big stories. And it's like, what the hell is going on? And it's just like, it's fun. It makes watching wrestling fun if you're a big nerd about the shit and you're into all the backstage shit and all that. Some people don't watch wrestling like that. Some people just watch what they see on TV and that's all they know. But us nerds about the shit, about this wrestling stuff, we're going to delve deep into it and have fun talking about all the backstage chaos and business dealings. But without further ado, let's get into the biggest story of the day. And we'll talk about Monday Night Raw as well. But the biggest story of the day has to be WWE finally finding a home for Monday Night Raw. If you don't know, WWE's contract with, I think it's NBC. I don't even know what network they're on right now. But their contract ends in 2024, and they finally found a home for 2025. And I can't say that I'm excited about it, but I guess it just is what it is. I'm reading this story from Wrestling Inc. This is kind of just it's kind of I don't really know what to say about it, but WWE has announced this morning that WWE Raw, is the promotion's weekly flagship show. Not so much right now, but maybe we're heading back towards that. Will move to Netflix in January 2025. So 2025, we'll be having to stream Monday Night Raw on Netflix. This is a big deal. This is a complete change from what we're normally used to watching wrestling on network TV. They go on to say the new long-term partnership will see the Red Brand show initially broadcast on the streaming platform in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Latin America. So that's also a change. They'll be streaming. It's not like the WWE Network where you can only get it in the United States or North America, or whatever, and you have to use a VPN to get it in other places like that. Well, now you have to use a VPN to get it in America because it's not available here. So it won't be the issue going forward. Netflix is the biggest streaming platform in the world, so WWE will have access to all those fans. They go on to say more countries will be added in the future. Additionally, Netflix will become the home of all weekly WWE shows, as well as premium live events such as WrestleMania for international fans. So that's just for international fans, as far as the all weekly shows are concerned. Because I assume that would include NXT, which is on WB now. I think going forward in 2024, 2025, and SmackDown as well, which is currently on Fox in America. So I guess uh, and international fans will get everything consolidated to Netflix, which is good for them. I wish it was like that for us over here, and we didn't have to find four or five different networks to watch all the WWE shows. If they're going to use Netflix, I wish they would use Netflix for everything and to just make it easy. But my thoughts on this are they got the bag. I mean, I can't be mad at them for it because uh, one of the keys to the deal is they got $5 billion for a 10-year deal. Can I really be mad at that? No, not at all. That's guaranteed money already on the books. You don't have to worry about it. Your company's gonna make $10 billion or $5 billion in the next 10 years. And that's just from the TV rights deal or the streaming deal for one show, Monday Night Raw. So that's a big deal. Now, as far as the fans, um, I don't know. Like those of us who don't have Netflix, I don't have Netflix. If I want to use Netflix, I just text my cousin and get his password. But I rarely use Netflix. So I don't pay for it. I pay for like five other streaming apps: Paramount Plus and Disney Plus and so on and so forth. I have like five, six, but Netflix is not one of them, which is ironic because it's the biggest streaming platform in the world. But obviously, in 2025, things will change. I'll have to be signing up for another streaming platform as a wrestling nerd. I'm not going to be missing Monday Night Raw when I want to watch it live. So obviously, I'll be doing that, as I'm sure a lot of you will be doing the same if you don't already have Netflix. I'm assuming most of you guys already have Netflix. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is going to be good or bad for the already wrestling fans. I'm not sure if everybody already has Netflix, if it'll be a big deal or not. Um, I think streaming platforms are the future. We see what happened with the NFL playoffs. Like people were complaining about one of the Kansas City games being on Peacock. The Kansas City Miami game was exclusively on Peacock. Then we had a game this past weekend that was exclusively on Paramount Plus on the CBS network. It's uh it's it's a different time. So I can't really sit up here and be mad at WWE for what they did. I don't know if I should feel bad for the fans because I'm assuming most fans already have Netflix, but I don't have Netflix, so I'm assuming there are people who are just like me who watch wrestling who don't have Netflix. I'm 100% sure that those people exist. So um, we'll see how things go. I don't. I don't think WWE will lose any hardcore fans. Now, will they lose the fans that are just scrolling like, oh, hey, Monday Night's Raw when they turn on their Sling or whatever cable app they use and they got the Monday Night Raw promo right there as soon as they open up the app and the app that they always use and it's not there anymore. Are they going to even go looking for Monday Night Raw? Now, the opposite side to that is Netflix being the biggest streaming platform in the world and them being introduced to millions and millions of people who were never going to go looking for Monday Night Raw, and now it'll be plastered on the homepage of Netflix when they're about to go live. So I think, it's a double-edged sword. Either could happen. I think WWE knows what they're doing. I think that Nick Khan and Triple H know exactly what they're doing. Um, yeah, and the board of WWE obviously knows what they're doing. And that's how we're going to transition into our next story because apparently the WWE is just on fire. You know what I mean? Right now. And you can't get more on fire, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. I ain't gonna even lie. This is wild. You can't really get more on fire as a business right now than adding one Dwayne The Rock Johnson to your board of directors. Now, Dwayne has come full circle. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? Let me get that man. Let me get that man a round of applause. I probably had the sound effects over here, but I'm blind now. I can barely even see. Diabetes took my vision. It's crazy. Take care of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. But it's wild how WWE or Dwayne the Rock Johnson has come full circle in WWE, starting out as coming in at SummerSlam '96 was it, and just looking goofy and becoming the superstar that he did when he became Corporate Rock and all these other things, and turned into a heel, and then the biggest baby face in the world, and then a superstar movie action hero, entrepreneur with his own vodka and all these other things. Like the man is one of the hardest working men and an inspiration to anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to be great at things, because like his company is called $7 for a reason. He started out, I wouldn't say from the bottom, but that's the bottom. You know what I mean? That's as close to the bottom as you can get when you have, pseudo famous father. Um, Shout out to Rocky Johnson. But yeah, Dwayne has joined the board of directors of WWE and TKO Group. It goes on to say here that Dwayne The Rock Johnson has been appointed to the board of directors in TKO Group Holdings. We haven't talked about that, but obviously you guys know all about the WWE WWE's merger with TKO, Vince McMahon being gone. We haven't talked about any of that stuff, but we'll catch up on that stuff later. It's the parent company of WWE. The company is announced. TKO was formed in September 2023 following Endeavor's acquisition of WWE, merging the wrestling brand with MMA organization UFC. TKO made Johnson's appointment to the board. Excuse me, made Johnson's appointment to the board official with a press release noting his significant experience identifying and cultivating revenue-generating media rights, live events, sponsorships, licensing, and social media opportunities. Alongside his appointment, WWE announced that it has agreed with Johnson to give him full ownership of the trademark of his ring name, The Rock. Wow, this is, first of all, big move by The Rock getting getting ownership of his name. That's obviously a massive deal as far as merchandising and different things like that. And this is massive, man. They didn't talk about money or anything. I don't even think he cares about how much money he's making. I'm sure he's gonna get a fat check from getting this position, but I think it's just more of a power play and the influence that he'll have over professional wrestling going forward. He said he'd never leave, and this was his home, and he had, all the John Cena stuff and everything, and he actually, I mean, he's definitely in the house now. He's at the head of the table out there. I think Roman Reigns already lost. I think we don't need to have a match anymore. Roman Reigns literally works for The Rock. You can't be like, I'm the head of a table, but you're my boss. Like, it's not how it was. You can't do that anymore. So obviously The Rock, this kind of just, I'm just now thinking, this now dawning on me. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is clearly the head of the table, unless they gonna put The Rock's position as of the board of directors on the line in the match as well. Oh man. Nick Khan hooked The Rock up. Yeah, he definitely hooked The Rock up, Gruss. He definitely been hooking The Rock up. KGM said, I've been using my girl Netflix for about 3-4 years now. She don't say nothing. Because now they got the thing when I use my code, be like, you do not live at this. I'll be like, oh, what the fuck, Netflix? Oh, man. So is Netflix airing any other live shows currently? That's a good question. I don't have Netflix. You have to ask somebody who has it. CW is CW. Yeah, CW is the new home of is that right? Is it NXT or NWA, or is it both? Because I know there was some potential competition going on. Yeah, The Rock got the UFL as well. That's man. The Rock is just. He's just an inspiration, man. Like, I'm not gonna say I wear suits because of The Rock. I've always worn suits. You could check my resume. It's just how I dress. We're gonna try to be more professional when we come on the shows and different things like that. I got 50 blazers in there. I feel like I don't ever go anywhere, so you know what I mean. No better time to wear them than when I'm doing my show. So, but this is getting back to The Rock. This is extremely impressive. I think it's a brilliant move by WWE and TKO. Obviously, The Rock has a history in wrestling. Everyone loves The Rock, except for maybe CM Punk. No, they're cool. But everyone loves The Rock. So I don't see anything wrong with this. This can only be good for WWE, for TKO, especially, if with The Rock's potential return. At WrestleMania 40. I'm not sure if him getting on Twitter or wherever he Instagram, wherever he posted this message and talking about he was, it's time to change the game and all these different things. And, we're about to do something bigger than we've ever done before and all these different things. Which, if he previously stated, that's why he didn't do WrestleMania with Roman Reigns at 39, because they hadn't come up with anything that he thought was spectacular enough. Hopefully it applies to what he's going to be doing in ring, without taking away Cody's story, because that's still a big thing going on. But hopefully he has a big some big plans for WrestleMania and to wrestle going forward. Even though I know he's probably going to wrestle his last match soon, and I'm cool with that. The man's 50 something years old, so he'll wrestle his last match and go on to keep doing big things and uh, helping TKO run WWE at this point. So shout out to The Rock, shout out to WWE and TKO for making these power moves. Uh, I'm never going to complain about Dwayne The Rock Johnson being a part of pro wrestling in any capacity. So uh, that those are the two biggest stories of the day. Obviously, we got to talk about some stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw. We got a couple other news stories we'll get into in a little bit, but talking about some stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, everybody's worried about Seth Rollins because last week he fought uh, Jinder Mahal, and Jinder Mahal hindered Seth Rollins, ironically. So Seth Rollins injured himself. I knew he was hurt for real whenever I was watching it live because he didn't look like it didn't look like the normal Seth Rollins overselling, flipping the bird when he saw CM Punk just being extra. It looked like, oh shit, I think I hurt my knee. And, the way it went off the air, it was like, I think he actually hurt himself. And the news instantly came out with all the rumors that he might actually be injured. And WWE made it a segment because that's what they do. And, they had us all looking forward to the results of what Seth Rollins had heard from doctors. And we got that last night on Monday Night Raw. He came out in a bright neon yellow suit, as he does with his wardrobe. I wouldn't wear it, but hey, more power to him. So the champ came out and he was just like, everybody, is rough. I had a, match with Jinder and it wasn't Jinder's fault. It was something that I did. I did a dive and landed wrong, blah, blah, blah. But everybody expects me to, have to, give up my championship, and will I even make it to WrestleMania? And doctors saying it's going to be 4 to 5 months, which is obviously a few months past WrestleMania. So the crowd starts getting antsy and starts booing, and it's like, oh no, Seth is going to announce that he's relinquishing the title or something. And that's not what happens at all, because Gunther came out. And I thought Gunther was just going to be like, yeah, you should give me your belt since you can't defend it. I thought they were going to do that trope. And then Seth was going to be like, no, and this is what we're going to do. And it's going to be like a tournament or something. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen, but it made sense that Gunther was coming out because he's the next champion in line. He's the IC title holder, and a damn good one at that. So Seth is just like, you should have let me finish. You ain't let me speak. Gunther, you know what I mean? Because Gunther's just running him down. Or actually, Gunther wasn't running him down. He was, giving him props. He said, you're a fighting champion just like me. Someone that everybody could be proud of. It takes the ring seriously and blah, blah, blah. So Seth was like, yeah, you ain't let me finish, man, because I said that I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to do everything I can to stay and to defend this title at WrestleMania, just like I said I would. So the crowd popped big for that. I'm a little worried because the reports are that he has a torn MCL and meniscus, and those are injuries that I've had. And 5 years later, 6 years later, my knee still hurts. so, so I'm sure he will rehab very intensely, unlike me, which is where I went wrong. That rehab is vital, and I was too busy still trying to stand on couches at the club at that time. So, but yeah, Seth Rollins is vowing to make it to WrestleMania, and I for one am happy because I want to see Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. That's the match we've been building towards. I think everybody wants to see it at this point. I want to see it. Their promo battles were great. So get well soon, Seth Rollins. Hopefully you got that John Cena, those John Cena jeans, and you can not the jorts, not those jeans, but the returning at the Royal Rumble type jeans. Ironically, yeah. Hopefully Seth can get back in the ring and we can get that match. And then if he needs to go get surgery after that, maybe he go get surgery after that, or maybe just take some more time off to heal that leg. But get well soon, Seth Rollins. We want to see that match, and we just he want to be able to carry his daughter around, man. It would suck to have to you know limp around and chase a 2-year-old. So I know that. I know that life. Um, KGM said, "Am I only one who wants to catch the Rock's elbow pad when he throws it in the crowd?" I think we all had that dream as kids. I don't know if I want the Rock smelly elbow pad at this point. I'd rather just have him sign a picture, uh, take a picture with me or something. I don't know if I want his sweaty ass elbow pad. What I'm gonna do? Hey man, I got the Rock's elbow pad. I mean, maybe it's probably cool. I probably end up wearing it. I'll probably find some reason to wear it. Yeah, I mean, probably make it a prop on the show or something. Gunther was capped when he was gonna take advantage of Seth's injuries. If he was really about it, he would have fucked up Seth on site last night. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why ain't they just jump him? Like this is WWE. This is what happens. Like it happens all the time. Just beat him up some more. So then he can't show up and defend his title. I mean, then he has to relinquish it. Maybe you get the title handed to you because like who knows? But whoop his ass and find. But yeah, I agree with that. I thought the same thing. So I was like, so they just gonna walk off? It's 3 versus 1. This is Imperium. They used to jumping people. I don't get it. Maybe he was like, my shoes too nice. Gunther be fly. Gunther always dressed like he about to go out to date or something. Yeah, I'm fresh. I mean, I respect it. He looks like a champion. He carries himself like a champion, so I respect it. Uh, but yeah, this segment was good. But it's good to know that Seth Rollins has a chance to make WrestleMania 40 not here in Philadelphia, but in Philadelphia. It's only 2 hours away from me. I still want to make it to WrestleMania. I'm not 100% sure I will because I'll be moving and trying to get my studio set up over there. And if I'm gonna go to WrestleMania, at this point, I want to be able to do some kind of work. I want to have some interviews lined up. I want to have some meet and greets. I want to do something, and we haven't really been working here on the channel as we should have to make those things happen. So maybe next WrestleMania, I'll be there live doing that stuff. But we'll see about this year's WrestleMania. Um, but moving forward, nothing else really to talk about on Raw. They built towards the Royal Rumble, obviously, with the ladies' match. I like the Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax, who's been killing it. Let's give Nia Jax her props. And Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch stuff that they've been doing has all been good, in my opinion. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how the Royal Rumble plays out on the women's side. The Drew McIntyre stuff has been fire. Him and Damian Priest had a good match that got a little weird with the R-Truth stuff, who's also been killing it with the comedy stuff. And they've integrated him into Judgment Day pretty well, not making Judgment Day a joke. I think Rhea Ripley and the Damian Priest drama with Drew has done a pretty good job of making sure that Judgment Day doesn't become a comedy faction per se. But R-Truth has been, doing some of his best work. I feel like we always saying at some point every few years about R-Truth because he's a wrestling gem. Yeah, I think the biggest story, as KGM just mentioned from last night, was the promo battle between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. This shit was fire. I was watching it right here. I was working on setting up the stream, getting things together because I haven't even opened my streaming applications, and I had to figure out how to use some of this stuff again. And I used to be a professional at streaming, but I was sitting there watching it. I was just listening. I'm just like, yo, they going hard. At first, it was like there were some moments where CM Punk was like repeating the stuff he was saying about Dusty, and I was like, CM Punk, like, is he starting to lose? Is he forgetting what he was supposed to say? But then he didn't forget. He was just building it. He was building it and he was building it. And then he talking about how, he's He didn't come from nepotism, and or Cody said he came from nepotism, but CM Punk was basically like, yeah, I didn't have a famous father and all. My dad was an electrician, so ironically, I'm more American Dream than you are. And I was like, damn. I ain't gonna even lie. I was like, damn. I was like, CM Punk is a savage, bro. I was like, oh, this shit about to get real. And Cody gave him the, hey, motherfucker, that was good. That was, you know what? You know what? You know what? And then Cody came back and was like, yo, the crazy thing is, you know what I mean? Let's talk about that pipe bomb because I agree with a lot of stuff you said, man. You was like an inspiration to me. You said you was gonna do all these things and all these things that needed to happen, but the funny thing is, is that you ain't do none of that shit. You kind of just left. But guess who did all that shit? All that shit you complained about somebody should be doing. Me. Ooh. Oh man, I'm just thinking like, damn, and CM Punk had to go work for that man company that he started. It was like, oh, it's so good. And he was like, yo, so the funny thing is, ironically, I'm more CM Punk than you are. I was like, damn. It was so good, man. The timing, the deliveries, the words. Oh man, it just felt like it was off the cuff. It looked like they were thinking about what to say to each other, which made it even better because it was like, damn, he got me. What I'm gonna say? It was just felt like an off the cuff promo. I'm not sure if that was they discussed what they were gonna say or how they were gonna say it, but that shit came off flawlessly. And then they had a little stare down when Cody's they talking about they gonna beat each other at the Royal Rumble or whatever, and Cody's going out the ring and he shoulder charges CM Punk, and CM Punk grabs him, and then they have a stare down, and then they kind of back up from each other and walk off. But man, the promos here were perfection. Cody Rhodes is obviously Cody Rhodes. He's fire on the mic. CM Punk is one of the greatest of all time on the mic. Cody referenced one of the greatest promos of all time in the pipe bomb, and centered his promo around that. And man, it's just, whew, for it to be so real, and for the people like he didn't reference. Why didn't they bring up AEW? I mean, they kind of did bring up AEW. I mean, if you listen to the promo, he kind of definitely did bring up AEW when he was talking about he went out and did all the things that CM Punk said, should be going on when he started, basically referencing him starting AEW. CM Punk brought up, the fact that it was cold because at the end, CM Punk feelings was hurt because you could look on his, he was like, his feelings was hurt after Cody dropped that "I'm more CM Punk than you" line. But CM Punk was just like, yeah, it's gonna, I'm gonna feel real bad because your dad told me to look after you, but at the Royal Rumble, you know what I mean, I'm gonna have to get you up out of here, you know what I mean? And Cody's like, yeah, all right, you know what I mean, whatever. So it was a good promo battle, a great promo battle. One of the promos of the year already, early in 2024. I know we're only 2-3 weeks into the year, but I think we'll be talking about this promo battle all year long. Is one of those special moments in wrestling in 2024. So yeah, man. Monday Night Raw was decent. You know what I mean? I'm not doing full Raw reviews these days. I'm not about to sit up here and go tit by tit, tidbit by tidbit on the show. I'm not gonna do that. But we'll talk about the important points, the highs and the lows, as we go through the podcast. Whatever. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about one of my favorite wrestlers, possibly coming to WWE. Uh, I think it's a long shot, if I must be honest, but clearly WWE got the money. They just got $5 billion. So they could pay this man whatever the fuck he wants. And that man I'm talking about is Kazuchika Okada of New Japan Pro Wrestling, probably the greatest New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar of all time. I mean, I know there's a few other names that are up there, but I think it's maybe Universal that he's the best. He's like one of the best in the world. Like I think most people consider him like top 5 wrestler of all time or top 10 wrestler of all time. But Okada, his contract was abruptly announced to be ending at the end of this month, and he's a free agent now. Tony Khan was on Twitter, the tweaker Tony, was on Twitter talking about we're about to have one of the biggest signings. He does that so much. He's annoying as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Tony Khan is annoying. I'm kind of over him. I ain't gonna even lie. I don't even watch AEW that much. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like it's mainly because of him and how he runs his company and all the stuff going on over there. But I missed a few pay-per-views. I barely watch Dynamite live. I definitely don't watch Rampage or Collision. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. There's some good stuff going on over there, but there's also a bunch of garbage, and it's just no stories, and the production value isn't great, and it's just dark. It reminds me of I don't know what it reminds me of, but I just haven't been feeling AEW for the past year or so. On top of all the drama that's been going on over there, but Tony Khan's, basically hinted at the fact that he might be getting Okada or possibly Mercedes Monet. Um, I don't know. I think they both are better off in WWE. I mean, if you ask me, Mercedes Monet she's born for WWE. Like Snoop Dogg, when he shows up, he wants to show up at WWE because that's what he loves, and that's her cousin. And she's a superstar, and the super duper stars go to WWE because they do movies and they do music, and WWE has lanes for people to do. I mean, The Rock is is literally, one of the board members for the company now. So, and he's the biggest movie star in Hollywood, arguably. So, I think it just makes sense for Mercedes to end up back in WWE, especially if Naomi, who's rumored to be showing up at the Royal Rumble this Saturday, I think that it just makes too much sense. All the rumors about her going WWE not wanting to pay her, blah blah blah. I think that's all horseshit. Like I think they're like Triple H ain't stupid. Like that was his girl, and when she was in NXT, he did what he could for her on the main roster, but he wasn't in control then. Old man Vinnie Mac was. So I think she'll end up back in WWE. Could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen. Um, Okada's another story because Okada, he's from Japan. He wants to be over there with his family. Obviously, he could get the Jay White deal, the Will Ospreay deal, where they could still do work in Japan and do other things. And keep their family over there, and they might not have to be in the States all the time. They won't have to move to Florida and all these different things. But I just don't think for somebody like the Rainmaker, maybe AEW is a good fit because he'll get to wrestle some of his friends, but he has friends in WWE like AJ Styles and all these guys, Finn Balor and all these guys they're in WWE, and he knows all these guys, so it makes sense for him to be there as well. I just think that WWE is it's a more professional promotion, and I mean I think just by the way they handle CM Punk, it shows that they didn't let him come in and give him his own show because he didn't get along with some of his coworkers and treat him better than everyone else there, alienating all the people that helped you build the company and empowering CM Punk to have the attitude and the demeanor that he had backstage and feeling like he could punch people in the face and all these different things. Like that company is just AEW is just poorly ran. And I'm not saying I could run it any better, but there are things that I wouldn't do. I don't care how much of a fan CM Punk's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, top 5 favorite wrestler of all time. If I own the company, I'm not about to be like, so you don't get along with these guys, so now I got to start a whole nother show and do a whole nother thing, and then I'm just going to let you run it. And you make all the decisions on how it's going to go. And I'm not saying CM Punk wasn't capable of that, but it's just not how you run a company. You already got wrestlers who, whose idea was to start the company, so I understand them being EVPs, but there's also a conflict of interest. It's just so many things that can go wrong or go bad. Like when they're not getting along with wrestlers, they're contemporaries, but they're also their bosses. It's just really weird. It'd be like if Triple H was a full-time performer while also being in the position that he's in right now. It just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. Now, I know they're making the Young Bucks heels, which is a much better play. If they're going to be EVPs and everybody knows it and all these different things, they might as well lean into that and be, corporate assholes, if you will. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. Okada ending up in AEW is probably the more likely scenario because of the things that I mentioned earlier. It's just more. It's more likely to happen. Uh, but 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 that TKO money, that TKO money. I mean, I know Tony Khan got the bag too, and they might pay him more, honestly, because I feel like TKO is only going to pay wrestlers so much. They trying to, they on their business shit. They not just throwing the bag at every wrestler like, here, you get a bag, you get a bag, you get a bag, because they like, nah, we got $5 billion. We don't we don't need to just give it away, especially if you're not drawing numbers. But people like Sasha Banks draw numbers. People like Okada, who knows? It's a toss up. It's up in the air. Is he gonna bring a Japanese audience to watch WWE or AEW more? I'm not sure if he'll be as big of a draw in the United States. We know who he is because, again, we're wrestling nerds. So we know all the shit that's going on in all the promotions. Maybe not everything, but we expect the biggest stuff. We know who Okada is. But the average WWE fan ain't gonna know who Okada is. The average AEW fan is gonna know who Okada is, I feel like. Because AEW started by wrestling nerds and cultivated by wrestling nerds, but WWE being a more mainstream promotion, more just more mainstream, and they have a more I don't want to say fly by night, but more just general audience that they promote their brand to. I'm not sure if these people will care about Okada. Like they didn't really care about Shinsuke. Shinsuke built his name in NXT, having those crazy matches against Sami Zayn and all that, and having a great title run and being built up by Triple H. The same way he kind of is being rebuilt by Triple H now. And maybe they could do that with Okada and make him, make him a big star. I think he has a better chance of that happening in WWE than he does in AEW. I just don't think AEW is AEW just ain't it. And I'm not an AEW hater because I wanted to be good. You know what I mean? I really wanted to be good. Obviously, I was at the first ever AEW show, which happened right here in Washington, D.C. The first AEW Dynamite taping right here in Washington, D.C. I was there. You guys know it if you've been here watching for a minute. I've been supporting that brand and that company since the beginning. But the guy who owns the company is a joke, man. He's like, I don't know. I know we do all the Tony doing cocaine jokes and all this stuff, but he really be acting like he be high. You know what I mean? The way all this stuff played out with CM Punk, how he goes on rants on Twitter and he makes Jinder Mahal, he gets Jinder Mahal over somehow, some way. He was the only person who could actually get Jinder Mahal over, just by him running his damn mouth. And him and Eric Bischoff got their shit going back and forth when they're damn near the exact same person. I'm like, why is Eric Bischoff hating him? He's him. They the same. They the same dipshits. Yeah, I mean, Eric didn't seem like he was high on coke. He was just high on his ego. But Tony is just like a fan. He's like a super fan who's just like, he doesn't run the company like it's a business. He runs it like it's a video game, basically. And it's just like, bro, this ain't it, man. Like there's like the tournament that they did with Eddie winning and the story behind that, that was cool. It was good. We had some great matches out of that. I love that. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page. That bloody mess of a match that they had was phenomenal. I loved every second of that shit. Uh, so they've been doing some good things, and they've had to deal with some injuries and all and kind of stuff like that. But then you got, the dead, completely dead tag team division. You got the mess of a trios division. You got the women's division, which gets 3 minutes per show every Dynamite. You get it's like there's so many things wrong with that show, and then you got the owner of the company going on Twitter and sounding like a petulant child every time he, gets his thumbs popping. So I don't know. I'm praying for AEW. I want them to be successful. I hope that they're successful. I don't think it's the place for Sasha Banks. I don't think it's the place for Kazuchika Okada. Uh, if they want to be big superstars, Sasha Banks is already a superstar. That's why I think she fits more in WWE. She would be immediately in AEW. She would immediately be the biggest star in the women's division, one of the biggest stars in the company, top 2 or 3 stars in the company. I'm not even sure who would be a bigger star than Sasha Banks, man or woman, in AEW. I don't care about the Daniel Bryans, the Kenny Omegas, they're not more well known than Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné. She's in the fucking Mandalorian. Like, they ain't doing nothing like that. So they can do all they red little wrestling that they want to do and be great at it. We love it, but they're not as big as stars as Sasha Banks. So I think she's bigger than that company. She would be a great aid to that company. That's why they had her up in the box seats when they did Wembley. But I'm rooting for AEW to get their shit together, man. I'm rooting for Tony Khan to get his shit together. They have potential to do great things, and competition is healthy. I am happy, though, now that the new streaming deal with Netflix in 2025, we won't have to talk about ratings and all that crap anymore. Like, who beat who in the rate? Who gives a was the show good? Because you never know why ratings are poor for one show or another. So won't have to talk about that type of competition anymore, but there will be, obviously competition on who's producing the better product. I'm going to go with WWE going forward, being able to do that. Especially if they're on Netflix and they can do like more adult, you know what I mean? More like not attitude era stuff. Like, we don't need to like, I'm cool with seeing tits on my wrestling program. I'm not going to complain about it. You know what I mean? For one, you know what I mean? But then my son can't watch it. So it's like, so certain things. I want them to go, and be, maybe get away from the PG stuff so much, but not go too far to where I can't sit down and watch it happily with my son and not have to cover his eyes or something like that. It's bad enough. It's hard watching AEW sometimes because they'll drop the shits and Daniel Bryan's, I'm gonna kick his fucking head in, and it's very audible on the TV. I'm like, damn, man, my son can't watch this shit, man. He's not old enough yet. This is NC-17 wrestling. I can't. Oh, man, it's so good to talk to you guys again. Tony the Snowman. Yeah, hey, man, listen, man. Allegedly, but yeah, hey. If you know, you know. You look at the man, he be tweaking, man, and the way he be acting is, yeah, it is what it is. Nobody in the U.S. cares about New Japan. Yeah, I mean, some of us do. I mean, but I don't really, like, as a wrestling nerd, I'm not like watching New Japan on a weekly basis. Like, I keep up with the G1 via YouTube, but yeah, we don't need that. There's some good Jackson. Oh man, I wish I was Tony. Yeah, you would definitely be good. You could definitely make a lot of money because I'm sure he has a healthy habit of eating lettuce. Allegedly, I don't know this for a fact. Layla AEW game turned out to suck. Never bought it. Very happy I didn't. Very happy I didn't. And thanks for that transition, Gruss, because we do got to talk about the release of WWE's WWE 2K24 trailer. which was cool. I guess a lot of terrible, terrible CGI in that commercial. I was like, who the fuck did this? Like, did they just like type in an AI command and this is what they got and they just went with it? Because it was like, man, I think it was an Undertaker that looked, I couldn't tell if it was him or a cartoon. Stone Cold Steve Austin looked like his neck looked like a snake. He looked like he had a, I don't know what was going on. It was a mess of a production as far as the commercial, but gameplay is going to be the same. I assume they added some new matches, gauntlet matches, stuff like that. I didn't really play 23 too hard. I bought it, but I didn't really play it too much after the first couple weeks because just too busy to play video games. As you see my Xbox mounted on my wall back there, but I don't really have time too much to play video games. I'm trying to, build these businesses and all these things. I'll be editing videos and stuff like that. But when I do get a little time, I'll probably check out WWE 2K24. They had a cool moment with Triple H telling Cody and who's on the main cover of the game, and Rhea and Bianca, who are on the deluxe version of the game. Him telling them that they were the cover stars of the game. Cool little moment. Yeah, so congratulations to all the cover stars. Looking forward to checking out the new game. Hopefully it's worth playing for more than 2 weeks this time around. I gotta get more into online play when I play those games. I don't really be playing online that much because I be getting my ass whooped a lot. So I stop. So I don't be playing online as much of those games because people who play video games. Like a lot of people now, like if you playing, people be putting hours in playing these games, and I just don't. So compared to everybody else, I be trash unless it's Call of Duty, and then I could wipe people out in Call of Duty. I can get 100 kills in Call of Duty match, but some of these other games, I want to get in. I think I'm gonna get the new Tekken game because fighting games you could just hop in and out. You could play 2, 3 matches, hop in and out, stuff like that. So maybe I'll get back into gaming at some point like I used to, but. When you're the father of an almost 3-year-old, it's a little bit different trying to do these things. But one day he'll be into video games and we'll get to play together. And I'm like, hey man, hey man, hey man, what you know about that green mustache, man? I listen. On 22, I had the illest green mustache on my character. It was a glitch. I still stand on business with that. It was a glitch that was not on purpose. I did not intentionally give my character a green mustache. Oh man, you had to be around for a minute to remember that shit. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some more funny moments like that, man. Some more funny moments like that. So what else can we talk about, man, before I get up out of here? I gotta go to work. I gotta go change my clothes and go to my other job. Um, but I got a few more minutes, man. I got 5, 10 more minutes, man, which I want to talk about, if anything, man. What else happened in 2023 that we did get a chance to talk about that happened? There was a lot of cool stories, a lot of messed up stories that happened. What are you looking forward to most in the Royal Rumble this coming Saturday? Who do you guys see being surprises in the Royal Rumble this coming Saturday? Uh, I have no idea. I'm just happy that they didn't announce 15, 20 people. So it was like, oh, we have to only figure out, the other 5 or 10. And then it's like, well, we know these 5 to 8 people are probably going to be in it. So then it's like, okay, so who are the 1 or 2 people that we don't know is going to be in the Royal Rumble? And it kind of makes it kind of dry because you're just watching names come out of people that you already knew was going to be in it. But this year, with the men and the women, they didn't really do any of that. They didn't really do any of that. They announced maybe 5 or 6 people on each side, on the men and the women's side, uh, you know, uh, and that's pretty much it. So everybody that's coming out will kind of feel like a little surprise, like, okay, makes sense, they're in it, but it'll still be like when you get those surprises, it'll be awesome, man. Hopefully we don't see the same old Michelle McCool and Molly Holly in the women's, battle royal. Hopefully we don't see the same. Well, you know, hopefully we get some good surprises in the men's battle royal. I like to see somebody like Mick Foley come back. Like that would be a cool return. See Cactus Jack come back in the Royal Rumble, even though I don't think his body would he can't even get thrown over the top rope at this point. I'm not sure how that will hold up. But yeah, who knows who's going to show up, man? Amos will dominate 2024. Amos, is he even still signed to the company? I don't think he is. Is he? He might be. I'm not sure. I can't. It's been a long time since we seen the big guy. You know what I mean? But Amos, hey man, listen, the guy had potential, man. The guy had potential. He was getting better and better the longer he was there. His partnership with MVP was great. Neither one of them have been on TV. They both taken a long break from TV. So who knows what's going on with Amos? But Amos is inevitable always, according to Gruss. Let's talk Antonio Pierce and the Raiders' future. Have we re-signed him? Did you just hear some? Did we? Because I don't know. I don't want to talk about the Raiders. The Raiders are depressing, even though I am very ecstatic about the potential future of the team because we got some players that play with heart and play hard for the coach. We play hard for Coach B. We play hard for Antonio Pierce. It's crazy that Bisaccia and Pierce got more out of the teams than the head coaches or the coaches that they replaced. I think that team, the Raiders way, you just need a more down to earth coach. McDaniels was ass. Like his play calling, the way he ran the team, nobody liked him for good reason. But the team sucked. You could tell that no one wanted to be there. So I'm glad that McDaniels is gone. Coach Pierce, he got the players. Obviously, Max Crosby, they like, I'll quit if you don't. You got to trade me if you don't re-sign him. I'm like, what? All right. Okay. That's a little extreme, but I get it. So I hope we sign AP. But if Jim Harbaugh want to be the Raiders head coach, I'm not turning down Jim Harbaugh to be the Raiders head coach. I'm sorry. He just won the national championship at Michigan. He almost won the national championship against his brother in NFL. He's a proven head coach. I would love for him to be the head coach and AP to stay on the staff to coach defense, but I don't know how that would work or if that would work or if AP's like, nah, I want to be a head coach now, even though he wasn't really trying to do that before. At least I don't know if he was trying to do that when he was under McDaniels, but who knows, man? Who knows? We have a high draft pick. I hope we draft a quarterback because AOC ain't it. I really hope we draft a quarterback. That the quarterback is the key. You see how fast the Texans turned around their team? Just like that. You know what I mean? So the quarterback is everything. You see what happened to Dallas. You see what happened. The quarterback is everything. You see what happened to Dallas, man. The Cowboys, what can you say? Listen, Cowboys won me a lot of money during the season. Not a lot of money. They won me a little bit of money during the season. Because, betting on them to win games was always a good play. You know what I mean? They won 11, 12 games during the regular season. But their defense kind of stopped playing halfway through the season. I know that because I had their defense basically won me like, 8-9 weeks of fantasy leagues, games in my fantasy leagues, because their defense was putting up 20, 25 points every week. Then once that defense fell off, the team was not the same. You can't win every game 30-40. You can't. It's just not going to, because you're not going to always put up 40. And them teams still putting up 30. They're going to win sometime. So the Cowboys just weren't the same. I think they lost Diggs halfway through the season. At some point during the season, but Bland had like 1,000 pick sixes this year. Was a damn good replacement, but they just had too many holes on defense. And Dak in the playoffs. Like he played great in the fourth quarter when they were down by 75 points, but game's already over. So it don't matter. It don't freaking matter. Dak had a horrible game in the playoffs. All that talk, all the high hopes every season, Cowboys fans, y'all know how y'all are. You know what I mean? Every year y'all gonna win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? As a Raiders fan, like I have grip with reality. Like we suck. We're good. Till we don't, we do. You know what I mean? Until now, we got robbed of a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? About 20 years ago, though. So we've sucked for a long time now. So I can't be sitting up here puffing out my chest when I'm talking about my team. Cowboys fans don't care. They- we the Super Bowl champions every year, and I just go speaking into existence, I guess. But the football guys don't like that, so it's like every year the Cowboys gonna Cowboys, and y'all get to be, you know, have Stephen A. on TV making fun of y'all every single year, and y'all be proving them right. So, but the playoffs have been great. It was a few blowouts in the wild card weekend, but this past weekend was amazing. I'm a football fanatic. That's why I kind of wanted to switch the channel up to be able to talk about all sports, not just wrestling, because kind of get burnt out just talking about wrestling all the time. Especially because I watch so much football, and football it's like I won't be talking about it all year because it's almost over. So the good thing about wrestling is you guys get wrestling videos all year long because there's no off season. But Yeah, in a minute it'll just be basketball and wrestling. We'll be talking about McCarthy needs to go. Well, that's not happening. He's on the last year of his deal, but he's clearly not going anywhere this upcoming season. They might as well see it through. You got to pay Dak. You got to pay Dak. Dak is a free agent. You got to give him his money. Um, he's probably going to get like 50, $55 million a year. Yeah, I mean, for 5 years, probably going to get a $300 million 5 year deal. You know what I mean? That's what I see coming for Dak, 55, 60 million a year. Because that's just going to the going market rate. You can't act like Dak is a bad quarterback. He's just bad in the biggest moments. So regular season, that getting you the money. He throwing for 275 and 3 touchdowns on a regular. You know what I mean? Especially CD Lamb had a out of his mind season, catching 10, 12 passes every damn game for like 10 straight games. Like that shit was crazy. Like they were balling out going into the playoffs, and then they just flamed the fuck out in the biggest moment where everybody expects them to win easily. You know, the Packers were slept on, man. The Packers were slept on. Clearly, they almost won divisional round. So, uh, Cowboys came in, they just weren't ready. The you could tell they were tight. Like you could tell just how they were playing. They were playing like they knew they were supposed to win, and they were just nervous. And you can't. Dak, I think he threw one pick six. He almost threw like two other interceptions. He played like shit. I don't care about his stats, and he almost threw for 400 yards and 5,000 touchdowns in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. None of them empty stats matter. Empty calories, bro. You know what I mean? So um, we'll see how things play out the rest of the playoffs. I got it being Baltimore and San Francisco, obviously in the Super Bowl. I'm obviously hoping for Detroit and Baltimore. I like Detroit. I'm a big fan of the Cinderella story. Uh, is the fan base there is fun. A big fan of Amon St. Brown. Love their running game. Love their coach. Detroit has a lot of things you could like about the team. They're going to be good for a while. Jared Goff's story is awesome, going up against Matthew Stafford and beating the Rams. A lot of things to like about the Lions. A lot of things to like about the Lions. I wish their defense was a little bit better outside of Hutchinson and a couple other pieces they got, but the Lions, there's a lot to like about that team. What happened to the Eagles? Same thing that happened in week 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The Eagles stopped playing at week 12. That was the end of their season. The season was over. They were 10-1. And then I guess somebody's like, hey, I guess season's over, guys. And they were just like, all right, that's it, and they just stopped playing. And the season was literally over in week 12 because it was nothing good happened after that. Nothing. People start getting injured. Obviously you get hurt. AJ Brown missing time, Devontae Smith missing time. You just got so many people hurt. You can't push your way down the field, 80 yards every possession. Like you gotta do AJ Brown was doing what CeeDee Lamb did the second half of the season, the first half of the season. First half of the season, it was AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill. Second half of the season, it was CeeDee Lamb. So they were cooking first half of the season. AJ Brown dominating 100 yards, a touchdown every game. You know what I mean? First half of the season. And then it just stopped. And then he got hurt. And then he had to miss the playoff game, which is just like, and Hurts got a hurt finger in the playoff game. It's just like everything went downhill. They flamed out. And it's sad because they were just in the Super Bowl last year. So, and then, the Kelsey brother retired immediately after the game, which, sucks. But, he had a great Hall of Fame career as a center. So good for him. He can go do his podcast and more commercials with his brother. More power to him. But yeah, the Eagles just flamed out. Just flamed out. CeeDee Lamb almost dragged my team to a championship in fantasy football, but just like the Cowboys, everything went downhill in the playoffs. Listen, KGM, listen. Listen. 5 fantasy leagues, right? I'm in 5 fantasy leagues on Yahoo. 5 fantasy leagues. I won at least 10 games in 4 of them. I made the playoffs in all 4 of those leagues. I missed the other league by 1 game. 1 game, and it was because I would stupidly set Trey McBride and play Dalton Schultz 1 week. Just stupidly at the very last minute. I was like, nah, Schultz going to have a good game. And Trey McBride scored like 25 points, and Schultz scores like 2. And I was like, and I lost the game by the exact amount of points. I was like, and that game cost me a playoff spot in my 5th league. But the other 4 leagues made the playoffs. I was first place in 3 leagues, number 1 seed, 3 leagues. Got a bye in 3 of my leagues. Guess how many leagues I won this year, guys? Guess how many? I lost every fucking. I ain't even make it to the championship games. I lost every semifinal. I was the Dallas Cowboys as well. I lost to every semifinal that I had. I know I won one playoff because I made the semifinal all 4 leagues. So in the round in the league that I didn't get the bye, I actually won my first round playoff game. But then, I lost all 4 leagues in the same week. It was crazy. I was like, my team was putting up like 60, 70 points. Like I had the highest points in almost every league. I had dominant teams. I drafted so well. I had Tank Dell, who on most of my teams, who just carried me to championships. Nico Collins was on every one of my teams. I had some crazy squads, bro. I had CeeDee Lamb on 2 teams. I had Christian McCaffrey on 3 of my teams. That's really why I had the first round bye. But yeah, bro, I flamed the fuck out. And but then I won 3 of the 4 third place games, so I got some money back. I got a little rebate, you know what I mean, for third place money. But yeah, I didn't really win nothing from my fantasy leagues. You know what I mean? But it's okay. It's okay. I be smacking them 3-leg parlays, you know what I mean, on BetMGM or ESPN Bet or whatever. Little 3-leg parlays on there, be smacking them things. So got it in sports betting. I'm not a sports bettor because I know how deep that shit goes and how much you have to track and all that shit. So I kind of just do it for fun for now. But definitely been delving into that more, as I'm sure a lot of people are now that it's becoming legal in more and more states. But yeah, man, we'll be talking about some of that stuff. We'll be talking about all kind of stuff on the channel going forward. It's just been really, really good talking to you guys and seeing you guys again. My Royal Rumble predictions, Gruss. With the Seth Rollins injury, man, it's really changes things a little bit. I got CM Punk winning the men's, and I got Becky Lynch winning the women's. Now that's a little chalky. It's a little chalky. Like if I had to go with like outliers or long shots, I would say Drew McIntyre winning the men's. Not sure if that's a super long shot, but since he just did it, during the maybe they'll give him a second run at doing what he did when there was no fans. Drew McIntyre on the men's side, and on the women's side, Nia Jax. Am I wrong for saying that? Because they've been pushing her like shit. A she's a main eventer on the women's side. Like she's in storylines with the top two women in the division, Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. Like I don't. I mean, last year they had to have they said a record number 11, 12 women eliminator. Yeah, I mean they made a big point about that. What if she gets in first like Brock Lesnar did and she just eliminates people one by one, you know what I mean, until she gets to the end or some crazy shit. I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible idea because like I said, Nia has been doing great work. It's like we can hate on Nia and Nia was definitely worth being hated on for a long time. She's done a lot of crazy shit. But you know, they're playing into storylines at this point, talking about how she injures people all the time. Now they're just making her seem like she's dangerous, like in a good way, you know, as far as TV and her character's concerned. Like, yeah, she'll hurt you, so you might not want to deal with her. Um, so I like what Naya's been doing, man. You know, she still looks good. You know what I mean? Little, you know, cute face, you know what I mean? Not so slim waist, you know what I mean? But but she still looked good, still doing her thing. I feel like she's gotten better in the ring. She got a better finishing move. She got the leg drop and the annihilator, which is a great she got her name integrated in her finishing. It's the whole package is working right now. I don't know what she did. I don't know if it's because she's in a feud with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, and she's got good counterparts to go back in, but she's always had, I don't know. But Naya's putting in work right now. So I wouldn't even be mad if she ended up winning the Royal Rumble. It would also make sense since she's the biggest and most dominant woman in the division, next to Rhea Ripley, who isn't in the Royal Rumble. I think Naomi's coming back. Again, that's obvious my prediction. She said her goodbyes over at TNA. So I think Naomi's coming back. That's obvious. And that's what leads me to believe that Sasha's coming back. I think they both might pop up in the Royal Rumble. Uh, None of the Sasha Banks, the AEW news is kind of stayed on fire. It's kind of died down. She's definitely showing up. The AEW news is kind of calmed down. Um, they said that talks were squashed between Sasha and WWE because of money. That's a red flag. That just makes me think that they're just trying to throw people off the scent, like so they could do the big surprise debut when she comes back, and it not be obvious that they're on the same page with that. Um, so I think Sasha and Naomi could show back up. Shit, they might show back up, 1 and 2. You know what I mean? And start the whole Royal Rumble off like that. You know the energy that would be in the building. If they wouldn't even wrestle, they would just stand there and like look around until number 3 came out, and it would be somebody everybody hated, and then they would beat her up. Probably like Chelsea Green or something. You know what I mean? They both beat her up. But who knows, man? Who knows? I definitely got Naomi returning. Hopefully Sasha Banks, but Nia possibly when it could be a thing. On the men's side, yeah, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. Brock Lesnar may be showing back up, but if he shows back up, I think it'll only be to start a storyline with somebody, maybe Gunther. Uh, who knows? But I don't see Brock Lesnar winning. That would be a travesty. Jesus, that would be terrible. Uh, the Rock is not going to be in the Royal Rumble. I don't think that even though he's the boss now. Now that he's on the board of directors, I don't see him inserting himself into the Royal Rumble. Not needed for him to get the match against Roman. Uh, on the men's side, I don't really. I don't. I We've heard rumors about people like Sean Waltman, X Pac, showing up. I don't care, honestly. I want to see people in the Royal Rumble for the most part. If it's gonna be a nostalgia thing, I want it to be somebody I haven't seen in a minute. I feel like we see X Pac every 3-4 years. He's 2-time Hall of Famer. If I'm not mistaken, he's in NWO and DX, right? Yeah. So he's in there twice. And he pops up every now and then to do stuff. So that's not a big thing to me. Like I said earlier, Mick Foley would be much more of a surprise because of the shape his body's in. If he can get in the shape to come in and do a couple spots, maybe bring Sacco out for a hot second. I don't know. Jade Cargill, that's a good shout, Gruss. her to finally show up at the Royal Rumble and make her statement. Winning, no. I think honestly, it's better. A better idea is to debut her on the Monday after Mania. I think that's probably the best idea for Jade Cargill. Then build her up to have a match at next year's WrestleMania. She could have her first big match at SummerSlam or something like that. But you start building her up the Raw after Mania. You debut her then, or you have her come in and attack somebody, or do the promo thing against somebody. Um, Jay Cargill's a good shout, though, because obviously she's been signed to the company for a few months now, and everybody's wondering where the fuck she is. They said, yeah, you got that AEW training. That shit ain't no good over here. To the Performance Center you go. so, so she's been down there being retrained and retaught the proper way to be a sports entertainer. And I think she's going to do just fine. I think she's going to do just fine. I feel like Jay Cargill is going to be an action movie star at some point in the next 4 or 5 years. She'll be doing movies, maybe sooner. So, yeah, man, some good shouts. I am excited about the Royal Rumble. I'm excited about doing this show again. I'm excited about hanging out with you guys. Cue the content, guys. See you in here, my guy. Thanks for coming through, bro. This will be the biggest Royal Rumble for the women yet. Yes, I agree, but there's a possibility that it could be the biggest Royal Rumble for the men as well, because there's so many big names in this Royal Rumble. I mean, so many big names. And we're not even talking about the people who might return, but you got CM Punk in the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? We might get a returning Big E. What if Big E returns in the Royal Rumble, y'all? That'd be crazy. Yeah, I mean, we get all 3 of the New Day members in there against all 3 of the Imperium members at one time in the Royal Rumble. It could happen. You know what I mean? You know they love doing stuff like that. The Royal Rumble would be kind of weird trying to get 3 versus 3 in there at one time with nobody else in there. Maybe there'll be other people in there, but yeah, it could happen. I would love to see it. Obviously, Big E is, one of my son's favorite wrestlers, even though he's never got to watch him wrestle live. But he has the action figures, so Big E, he loves Big E. So yeah, so hopefully that happens. I'm praying that would be the biggest one for me is if Big E show back up. But other than that, I don't really know who I would want to see. I do want to see CM Punk win because I'm a CM Punk fan. I want to see CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. I want Seth Rollins to stay healthy, get healthy, so we can get this match popping. Cue the content guy. You don't get the CM Punk hype? Did you not watch Raw last night? How many people cutting those promos? How many people doing that with Cody Rhodes? That's the hype right there. He gave you the hype. He gave, like, CM Punk make everything. It was all real. Like, that's why he's CM Punk, because everything he does, that should be real. It be sounding real. You don't get that from all wrestlers. You don't get that from most wrestlers. You don't get that from 95% of wrestlers. He's a 5%er when it comes to that. That everything he says on the microphone when he's out there talking sounds real. Because technically it is real. He's pulling shit from real life, which makes other wrestlers like Cody, who's proficient on the microphone himself. Don't want to take nothing away from Cody. He could have done that. He's done that with other people before. You know what I mean? So you had 2 masters on the microphone and they're doing their job. And it's only so many people that could do that. That's the hype with CM Punk. He could tell stories in the ring. I'm not going to go crazy about CM Punk's wrestling ability or anything like that. I think there are better in-ring workers now because he's old. he do stuff that's too crazy, he's going to get hurt. Yeah, I mean, we've already seen it. Yeah, I mean, he could barely land on his 2 feet without getting hurt. So, he's a great storyteller in the ring. So you're still, regardless of whether the fuck he doing flip dives and all this crazy shit, you're still going to get a great match because he's going to tell a great story. There's only so many professional wrestlers with he's a 5-tool player, as they say, with all the skills that CM Punk has. The only thing he doesn't have is the super strength. He's not the super powerful, but shit, his finishing move is the GTS, and you gotta be strong as fuck to do that move because you gotta pick somebody up, put them on your shoulders, and throw them over your head and knee him in the face. So it's not even like he's some little weak little bitch out there. Like he's still strong as fuck. So I think that he's just he embodies what the regular rebel mentality is, even though he's in his real life sort of a soy boy a little bit. He's weird. I don't I don't know. CM Punk is a complex individual because there are parts of that man that I absolutely admire, and there are parts of that man that I just don't like. So I get why people are indifferent about him. I am a fan because I can separate his real life from what he does professionally in his wrestling work. His wrestling work, his character, what he does for the business. I love all that shit. Outside of the fights backstage, obviously. But who knows, man? I want Gunther to take the title from Seth and vacate the Intercontinental title the following night on Raw. I wouldn't have minded that. I wouldn't mind that either. I think Gunther should be the next in line for that title if it's not going to CM Punk. And if it does go to CM Punk, I think Gunther should be the one to take it for CM Punk. Gunther should be the next world champion. Like he just feels like a world champion, and it just doesn't feel like he's beatable. It doesn't. He's like kind of like the Brock Lesnar Roman. Like he just has the aura of like, who's really gonna beat him? If Drew McIntyre couldn't beat him multiple times, like who's about to beat him? Look at that dude. I mean, he's a specimen. He's like 7 foot tall. I mean, he's like, in the best shape of his life. Like Gunther is a very believable heavyweight champion. He made the IC title feel important. He always calls the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship just to make sure people know that it's a big dog title. You know what I mean? I can appreciate everything he's done with that belt, so I wouldn't be mad at that. I wasn't watching wrestling during Punk's first WWE run, so I don't get the nostalgia that everybody else gets. He does have a fire theme song, though. Oh, yeah, his theme song, his original theme song, that heavy metal shit went hard, though. I ain't gonna even lie. But yeah, if you missed his first run, then I get it. I get it. If you missed all the stuff he did with Randy Orton, and you missed all the stuff he did with Triple H, and if you missed all the stuff he did with Kevin Nash, good for you. Like stuff he did with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, like Punk, stuff he did with John Cena. Him and John Cena had one of the greatest matches of all time. Money in the Bank 2011 is one of the greatest matches of all time. Yeah, I mean, not too long before he actually left the company, when he was threatening to leave the company and taking the title and blowing Vince McMahon kisses and running off with the belt through the crowd. Like it's one of those moments in times that will go down in wrestling history. You just had to be there. You know what I mean? It was his. And while everybody was 300 pounds with muscles popping out of their chest, you had this little dude with no muscles at all, little skinny, frail dude coming in talking the most shit to everybody. And we was just all like, yeah, we gonna root for that guy. He don't give a fuck. So that's why CM Punk was so cool, man, because everybody else was kind of like, it was the PG era. It was like the start of that shit. And CM Punk came in just like he was a rebel. He had all the tats and, just looked dirty. You know what I mean? Looked like he just finished wrestling in his backyard or some shit. So it's like he just looked like the unpolished wrestler. But he was good on the mic and he was great in the ring back then. Still is, but he was obviously a lot younger then, more spry. So he was doing cool stuff in the ring. So everybody fell in love with CM Punk, man. He was a rebel with a cause, man. And, everybody got behind him at that point. But, I could see if you didn't watch wrestling back then, if you're just watching him now from coming back and you're like, all right, who is this guy who gets hurt all the time with the gray beard? I mean, he talks some good shit and everything, but I mean, but yes, there is that level of nostalgia that people who were watching that first CM Punk run, people who know his OVW history, and all the people who watched his WWE documentary and learned and knew about him wrestling in the backyard. Watch his WWE documentary if you haven't, if you can find it somewhere. I don't even know where those documentaries are anymore. But if you can find it, watch it. It was a great documentary talking about his upbringing, his relationship with his mother, which was not the best at all, and he just had a real story. And I love my mother to death, but I could empathize with a guy that was just had real life stuff going on. So we just connected with CM Punk, man. I can't really explain it, man. I can't really explain it. We connected with him. He has a I got a tattoo that says Space Boy because he has a tattoo that says Space Boy. That's why I have to say I'm a CM Punk stan because I don't think I've done that. I know for a fact I haven't done that. I've like, oh, that guy has a tattoo and he explained what it meant and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I could relate to that. I'm gonna go get that same tattoo. Uh, you know, even though it's just a few letters, it's still like I connected with that guy so much. I went to get a similar tattoo as to what he had just because he had it. So that's how much we connected with that guy back then, man. So you know, the original CM Punk doc is on Peacock. Okay, that's where they put everything on the cock. Pause. Uh, so yeah, man. But I gotta get up out of here, man. It's been a good 90 minutes. This has been awesome, man. Hey, man, listen, man, listen. Gruss, KGM, Q the content guy, everybody that's came in, man. KGM, Dave. Oh man, listen, man. I appreciate y'all dudes, man, because I was worried that I was gonna come in here. It was gonna take like 45 minutes to an hour for anybody to show up because I ain't been live in a month or months, multiple months. Um, but you guys showed up right on time, man, early. Yeah, I mean, with your boy. That's why, yeah, I mean, I can't quit doing this shit because I love talking about wrestling and hanging out with you motherfuckers, man. So, um, gonna try to. I'm not really sure about the schedule as far as the time of day because I'm a dad and I got to work and do all these other things. But we will be doing videos and live streaming something on a daily basis, on a regular basis, at least every other day, trying to get content out because now the channel can be monetized. Cool, they changed the YouTube policy, so my channel can be monetized in a couple days. So. That's cool. So hopefully we can get the subscribers up. I've been gaining subscribers the whole time I haven't been here. We were less than 600 when we last time I did a show, and now we're like 620 something. So that's cool that people come through and watch the old videos and still subscribe. That gives me kind of an idea what kind of content people got. We're still getting a couple thousand views on the channel every month. So people are watching the old content, which is good. Definitely gives me a gauge on what kind of content I'll be pumping out for you guys in the future. But I had to come and do this first live stream. I was gonna pre-record it, but I got to go to work. I don't feel like editing. So, and I want to talk to my guys because when I do the pre-recorded shit, I can't talk to you guys. So, this was cool. There's no need to fear. Gruss is here, the supervillain of the IWC. Welcome back to the chat, my brother. Welcome back to the chat, KGM. Dave, everybody who came up in here, man. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been great. Let me go change my clothes and get ready for my other job. I'll talk to y'all soon, man. Deuces.